Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Trevor and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be looking at a pretty cheap build. I would consider it to be a budget build, but more importantly, it's a build that has upgradability. So it's able to be upgraded without having to buy other parts, like without having to purchase a different motherboard or power supply or something like that in order to be able to handle whatever video card or processor you want to put in it. So this is going to be an Intel budget build, and the way this works is pretty much we've got this this 6500K. I mean 6500. I'm sorry. I'm so used to putting K at the end of these. We are not getting a K processor. We are just getting a 6500, which is a pretty solid processor for gaming if you don't intend on overclocking. That's kind of the biggest catch here. If you intend on overclocking, you're going to be wanting to get the 6600, which I believe. How do I get back to this? If we choose a CPU here, the 6600K is a little bit more. I'm not sure if that's the real price. They pull from some weird vendors sometimes, but yeah, so the 6500 is down here at 190. I think it's actually around 200 on Amazon, and you got the 6600K listed at 230, so I can only assume it's around 240 or so on Amazon. In fact, we can check here. If we check, we can see that it's 245. Okay, but we're going to be going with the 6500 because this is for someone who doesn't intend on going insane and overclocking. If you intend on going insane with overclocking, you're probably not going to be looking at build guides anyway. So the 6500, and the reason why we're choosing this one is because, yes, you can get cheaper AMD processors, but the 6500 has in most Intel processors, and I think some you have the APU from AMD that does a similar thing. You have a graphics array. I don't know really what to call it, but processor graphics on the chip. So it's the Intel HD Graphics 530. Now, if we go over to Passmark, the video card benchmark site right here, I typically use this to get like a rough idea of how cards perform against each other, and same with processors. We're going to type in the 530 here, and we're going to find the Intel HD 530. Now, you'll notice it's pretty far down the list here. It's not meant to be something that you're going to do hardcore gaming on. It's meant to be something that will get you by until you decide to get a video card. Now, you could take this build and just slap a video card on it and you'd be set. Or, if you don't have the money, if you have just around $500 or a little less and you really want to get a solid build, I would highly suggest not compromising. The compromise should be that you wait until you have enough money to get a powerful card, because it really does make a big difference. If you get a budget card, you're going to be wanting more unless you know exactly what games you play, and you're never going to be playing games that take more performance than that. But every person I've said that says, oh, it's going to be fine, in 2 months they're like, oh man, I wish I had more power for my video card. That's just kind of how it goes. So the Intel HD 530 here, it's enough to do light gaming. You can play Minecraft, you can play League of Legends, you can play games on it, on medium settings, and it'll work just fine as a placeholder until you decide to drop something like, I don't know. I mean, my suggestion would be a 970. That's what I'm running right now. A very solid card for the price. If you want AMD's offering, you have the R9 390, which is right down here. A little bit more expensive, but I believe this one actually has 8 gigs of RAM in it, so it performs better at higher resolutions than the 970 would. Lots of good options here. My suggestion obviously being the 970, but if you want to get like a 960 or something like that, or even a 950, or wait until the 10s come out. The 1080 and the 1070 were announced, so I'm assuming that eventually at some point they're going to have a 1060 as well. It's just a matter of time, I think. But right now, a 970 still appears to be pretty solid value, but obviously that's completely up to you. So we've got the 6500, as I've said. We also have the Gigabyte GAH110M. It's a micro ATX motherboard. The only real thing I need to note about this is that let's see here. Why am I using Amazon to look at technical specs? Let's use Newegg. If we go to the specifications, you can see the maximum memory is 32 gigs of RAM, but it only has 2 slots. This really isn't an issue if you only intend on gaming, because you can just get one 8 gig stick right now, which is what I have picked out. If we go back, we have one stick of 8 gigs of RAM. So when you plan to go up to 16, you just get another 8 gig stick, hopefully the same one. I don't think it'd work if it wasn't the same one. And then you would be set with 16 gigs of RAM. I don't foresee people needing more than 16 gigs of RAM for gaming for the foreseeable future. So you are going to be fine running this build with 2 8 gigabyte sticks. For now, 8 gigs is plenty for like 98% of games. So you're going to be fine picking up this crucial memory that is listed at only $30 on Amazon. Not bad. So for this build, I have it set up with a terabyte hard drive. A lot of people do need their storage. An optional addition to the build would be a solid state drive. Solid state drives are really getting down there. The Samsung Evo series obviously is up here. These aren't the cheap. Wow, actually, these are getting really cheap. Oh my God, $90 for 250 gigs. That is not bad. I only have a 120 gig in my in mine. I have like Mushkin or something like that, 120 gig. But man, yeah, if you really want some good speed, an optional upgrade to this build would be putting a solid state drive in there. However, 7200 RPM hard drive will do just fine still. But yeah, so you got your terabyte there. And in fact, I'm almost, it's at 473 right now with Amazon prices. Oh, this should be Amazon. That's because I got rid of it and re-added it. It's actually at 478, my apologies. Moving down, we've got the NZXT Source 210. Very beautiful case. Always been a fan of this case. I haven't personally used it, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. It's got a bunch of expansion slots in it. You've got, I think it has 8 3.5-inch internal bays on the inside. You can see all of those bays it has right there for disk drives. So this has plenty of room, nice airflow, and why is it so expensive on Amazon? I'm confused. It's $36 here, but 60 doesn't matter. Whatever. This is a very good case. Totally worth your money. I think that there's another popular one on PC Part Picker. Let me just see really quickly here. An alternative, if you will. The Corsair 200R here seems to be pretty popular, listed at $50. That's another option. I mean, honestly, the case is really, really up to you. You can't really go too wrong with it. It's up to personal preference, but these are very solid cases. It's the same on Amazon, $60. So yeah, and then just the 650 watt power supply from EVGA. This one is fully modular, which means that basically it comes with a bunch of cables, and you pretty much just plug in the cables to the back of the power supply that you need to use at that moment in time. Nothing less, nothing more. And so you have a much tidier inside of your case. And yeah, EVGA is always nice. They have really, really good warranties on their on the stuff they sell, and they last a long time. It's going to supply you with nice, clean power. It's gold certified. It's worth spending a little extra money on a power supply so you can feed clean power to all the parts in your computer, and they can have nice longer lasting lives than if you're feeding cheap power and trying to just do the bare minimum. Now 650 watts will be enough. I believe I'm actually running 650 watts, and I've got 5 hard drives, a 970 and a 4770K in my computer. Slightly overclocked, and the 650 is doing it just fine in there. However, mine isn't as fancy as this one. Mine isn't fully modular, so this is great right here. So it's not like as cheap as I could possibly go. I could go cheaper, but honestly, cutting some of those corners are not things you want to do, because you're just going to end up paying more in the long run. So this is what I recommend. Everything else is really up to you. Peripherals are really very personal preference. Some people like to get things that are very colorful. Some people like to save money and get things that work just as well, but aren't as flashy. So that's really up to you. But this is kind of the core of the build. I would love to eventually at some point have the money to be able to do the physical builds for these, but unfortunately I can't just be throwing around hundreds of dollars right now for builds that I might not potentially use. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just a quick little build here. I want to start doing some more builds like this for specific purposes. I know a lot of people tend to argue over which video card to get, so I thought it'd be nice to make a build that was upgradable and you get to choose the video card yourself. I just gave the suggestion of the 970 in case someone has absolutely no idea what to pick and they want to have something to ballpark with. Anyway, it has been fun showing off this build I came up with. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace.